Okay, we are back for chapter 18. Chapter 18 is called Run. Here we go. I walk on through the night and into the morning. I zigzag across the desert looking for some trace of the stranger wolf. There is no sign of her. I do not know where to go. I only know that the ground under my feet could never be home ground to me. I could survive on it, but I could never love it like I love the mist covered mountains of home. I lift my head to pick up the scent of the stranger wolf. She could be anywhere, from horizon to horizon. I walk, trot, run, rest all day. But there is no trace, no track of her paw, no scent in the air, not even a gathering of hawks or crows to mark where she has hunted. I miss my raven, as I have not missed her since I left the lake shore. I press on through the night, looking by ear and nose. For days I keep searching. She is here somewhere. I call for her, and only silence comes back. I cannot find even the company of an echo. When the sun rises again, I see iron gray mountains ahead. Mountains! They will have trees and meadows and elk. Mountains will have cool air and elk, soft needles to rest on and elk, cold water to drink, and endless packs of deer and elk. If there are any wolves in this wide, empty land, they will be in the mountains. If the stranger wolf sees the mountains, she will want them as much as I do. I journey on. My hope is rekindled. All day the mountains grow taller, rounder, and darker. The wind picks up. As I go on, the grasses become taller and thicker, and the ground softer. I come to a pool to drink, but the water smells sour and warm steam rises from it. I peer into the depths of the pool, but nothing alive is in there. I'll drink somewhere else. By evening, I can see that they are not mountains, but clouds. Only clouds. They are tall and dark and full of rain. I do not give up. Rain clouds gather in front of the mountains as ravens gather over a kill. And the smell of rain, even rain that has not fallen, gives me courage. I lope toward the clouds, and they come toward me. I can taste the water in the air and feel it on my skin. But the rain does not fall. The wind blows harder, throwing hits or bits of grass in the air, and thunder rolls, but still no rain. I travel through the night with the sound of thunder on all sides, and flashes of lightning dazzle my eyes. Fire weather, Grau would call it. On a summer day when a plume of smoke rose up from the forest after lightning, he would gather us pups together and tell us about the fire that made him lame, about the patch on his rear quarter where fur would not grow again, about the run of his life. Fire doesn't care how brave you are, Grau would say. Fire doesn't care how long and how strong you are, he would say again, because Sharp was never listening. He would go on and on. Fire runs up a slope. Fire waits a moment at the top of a ridge, and always, always you must seek water. I sample the air. In front of me the air is clean, but a steady headwind hides all smells behind me, and there is no lake to shelter in if fire comes. I can only hope for rain. I dream of rain when I stop to rest. I can smell it in my memory, but rain does not fall. In the morning the clouds are taller and blacker than before, but they have passed behind me. I press on, more thirsty than hungry. Along the horizon is a rising ridge, darker than the rest. Mountains? I have been fooled before, but I journey on with hope. By midday the wind swings around and brings the sound of thunder and great crackling claps of lightning. My fur stands on end. The pulse of sound pushes me onward. There is still no rain. I listen and I smell for it. No rain, but another sound, a steady roar and pop. I turn and I see smoke. Smoke? A wash of dread flashes through me from nose to tail. It freezes my paws to the ground while I search for an escape route. Smoke can fool you. It steals away your smell. It slows your run and chokes your breath. It hides in the safe path from you and makes you fall. The fire behind the smoke is even worse. It can roar like a bear and run just as fast. But if you turn to fight it, there is nothing to sink your teeth into. The bitter taste of fear is deep in my throat. There are things a wolf can fight and things that he can't. I must run. But where? If my raven were here, she would show me the path. Sorry. All I can see is a parched grass and tumbleweeds and junipers in every direction, and the hint of hills on the sunset horizon. Water runs from high ground to low. If there is a hill somewhere, a stream will run down from it. Seek water, Grouse said. It is my only chance. I run, not a sprint, but a gallop. This will be the test of me. It will take every scrap of strength I have gathered in this long moon circle of traveling. I lope steadily, keeping my eyes on the ground. I cannot afford to stumble. I imagine my pack running alongside me, warm and wag, pounce and sharp. Mother would lead the way with song, and father would run rear guard with growl. I can almost feel them brush up against my shoulders and nip at my tail. Never give up, they would say to me. You are the fastest of us all. I will follow you anywhere. Carry on, carry on, carry on. The roar of the fire grows. A bitter smell billows around me. The wind that pushes the fire pushes the smoke ahead of it. The hills grow larger on the horizon. Two of the shimmering green birds zip past me. They hover for a moment and then rest on my shoulders. They weigh nothing at all, but I can feel the flutter of their tiny hearts. It gives me courage. A few moments rest, and they are on their way. Two green streaks of lightning. I mark their path and I follow it. The smoke turns the sun amber, and then red, and then the earth brown. The bitter smell of it clings to my fur and it scalds my throat. Birds crow Birds crowd the sky ahead of the fire. Crows and songbirds, eagles and cranes, they fly low and I follow them. My nose and ears tell me the fire is closer. I blink, stinging grit out of my eyes and keep running. The black horned deer appear out of the smoke beside me, their long tan and white necks stretched forward as they run. Tiny gray horses, with their big ears twitching in panic, appear like ghosts on my other side. They run in a pack. Yesterday they would be food, but today I wish them life. I feel the ground rise, and through the haze of smoke I see shrubs and a few thin-trunked alders and aspens. They are the first taste of bigger things to come. I press on, breathing hard. Jackrabbits and coyotes run side by side like pack mates. So all the animals are in this together. They're all trying to get away from the fire and they're all trying to, you know, get out of this alive. All the smoke talk is making Miss James have asthma. The smoke confuses my smell. The roar of the fire drowns out everything I might hear. The fire leaps ahead of me on one side. It crackles through the grass. It hunts the juniper trees, climbing up them with a great whoosh and a bang as the trunk pops open and a shower of spark rains down. The air shimmers with heat, and I swerve away from the flames. As I climb into the hills, the pale trunks of alders and birch appear in the smoky twilight. So alder and birch are types of trees. They are stream-side trees. I can only trust that they are marking the paths to the water. Rising ground slows me down, but fire does not mind a slope. It picks up the pace. I bite back panic and I run, flat out, ears back and heart pounding. There must be water somewhere. The roar of the fire is all around me. I hear the snap and the boom of burning trunks, the crackle and the hiss of burning needles. Fire leaps from one tree to the next, raining down sparks and flaming branches. I dodge away. Another burning branch flies through the air and lands on my path. I dodge again. Flames light up the smoke darkened sky and cast flickering shadows. My shoulder begins to ache as the land rises more steeply. There is a ridgeline ahead. I make for it, hoping Growl was right. Sparks eat into my fur like biting flies. A rabbit running beside me stumbles, rolls ear over tail to a stop. I do not stop, but I hear him scream. Runners around me stumble. I fight to keep my feet. The wind lifts burning weeds and grass and branches swirling into the air. They form a great spinning plume of fire taller than trees, taller than clouds. It sweeps across my path. I duck away and it swirls toward me again, cutting off my escape. It lights the grass as it goes, putting me in the center of a circle of fire. I skid to a stop. Heat presses me on all sides. My nose and lips blister and crack, and everywhere I turn there is no escape. My throat is too dry for a howl, too dry for even a whimper. Carry on. My father's voice is in the beating of my heart. I am desperate to go, but which way? I turn and turn again, and I cannot see beyond the flames. Carry on. I will not bow down to this fire. I cannot. Even as the unburned circle of grass where I stand grows smaller, I squeeze my eyes shut against the wind. The ground under my feet slopes down. Water will flow down. I turn to the downhill side of the ring, eyes still closed. I gather myself for a great spring. I burst through the swirling circle of fire. I hit the ground on a downhill slope. I roll over and over in the dirt until the smell of burning fur is gone. I spring to my feet and I run. The fire is on my heels, scorching my paws. Fire is above my head, singeing my fur. Burning branches topple and light up more trees. The ground gets steeper, and I pour on the speed. Carry on, carry on. I promise it to my father, to my pack, and myself. Above the tornado of fire, I cannot hear or see or smell water, but it must be there at the bottom of the ravine. I press forward, I stumble and roll to my feet and run again, and there it is. Not just a stream, but a river. A river! And I fall in. Ah, the sweet relief. I duck all the way under, killing every spark in my fur. Cooling, soothing, saving water. At last, I swim downstream around a bend to a wider spot in the river with a broad sandy bank on one side and bare rocks on the other. We stand in the water together. The coyotes, the deer, the rabbits. Though I am hungry, I cannot stir the desire to hunt. Fire rages up to the water's edge. Burning trees pop and crack and topple into the river with great hisses of steam. The heat is blistering. I duck in up to my shoulders. The river runs fast and cold and true. I have never been so grateful for water. In the fire's yellow-orange light, I look among all the animals for the amber eyes and the black ears of the stranger wolf. The smoke is so thick, I cannot even smell the buck standing right beside me. I search in the strange midday twilight of soot and ash. Black-horned deer stand daze, their sides heaving from the run. Songbirds rest on their shoulders, completely spent. Beside them stand a bear and her pup. Two small gray horses. Sorry, guys. With long ears nuzzle each other for comfort. Many have survived, but the stranger wolf is not here. All this time, all this long time, she was traveling, alone, just like me, and I have never found her. At the water's edge, the fire burns out. One moment the flames are shoulder high and crackling, and then they are snuffed out. Trees and shrubs still glow with fire, but the grass is gone, devoured. Nothing of it remains but smoke and a shimmer of heat. In the time the smoke thins, revealing a moon nearly full. In its light, the rabbits and the voles and the squirrels scatter. Coyotes and foxes wade out of the river. After them, still in a daze, the drive to hunt, not yet taking hold. Ashes rain down, leaving a bitter tang when I drink. The deer step slowly and gracefully to the far shore. They shake off fear and melt into the silver shadows of trees. I drink deeply in spite of the bitter taste. I walk up the green bank alone on the far side of the river, and I drop to the ground. I lick my scorched paws, and I fall asleep. Okay? All right, that was an interesting chapter, the fire. Okay, that was chapter 18 called Run. We'll start back with chapter 19 next time.